Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of 9 R.I.P. 9 RIP, running on Nintendo Switch 2. I felt death itself had come near and closed my eyes, hoping to escape it. Seconds later, I felt a grip on my arm, and I prepared for the worst. When I opened my eyes, I found Kuroha pulling me by the arm. We hurried up to the central stairs to the 3rd floor. Upon entering a classroom, Kuroha quickly shut the door. Kuroha gently comforted me as I gasped for air. I nodded, still trying to catch my breath. He patiently waited until I regained my composure. It's all right. I'm okay now. Thank you so much for saving me. I don't know what I would have done if you didn't show up. If Kuroha hadn't shown up when he did, I likely would be... Somehow I knew that that thing meant death. Just thinking about it made me shiver. It didn't feel like the other ghosts, though. A wraith? I clenched my hands, both of which were still shaking. Kuroha's serious look made me anxious. That's really frightening. Kuroha's gaze remained intense. Slowly, I began to feel unnerved even by his presence. He extended his hand toward me, and I instinctively stepped back. Kuroha, what are you doing? He quickly changed his expression and smiled. Huh? Why now of all times? Glad it was only a joke. I'm glad it was just a joke. For a moment, I thought you might have gone crazy because I'm a member of the living. Right, I understand. His directness threw me off, despite knowing full well he just meant me as a person. Kuroha has a tendency to be so direct sometimes. Now I find my heart racing for a totally different reason. I do trust you, Kuroha, but you really had me fooled with your acting. But I won't fall for it next time. From now on, my trust in you is even stronger. There you go again. Pretty good acting with that embarrassed look on your face. What? Is something wrong? He seemed amused, but I, on the other hand, was puzzled. Is he still trying to cheer me up? So does that mean you'll come to rescue me? His look of concern made me feel reassured, yet I couldn't help feeling a bit helpless. No matter what I do, I'll never be able to face down a wraith on my own. I realized it would be best to face my own limitations and do everything I could to ensure he didn't worry about me. Kuroha, I'm off to investigate the next of the 7 wonders. Will you come with me?
もちろんだ。お前を一人では行かせない。
Thank you. Just having you by my side makes me feel all the more courageous.
それは嬉しいな。お前の支えに慣れているようで。
You shouldn't just feel that way. You actually do make me stronger. Kuroha's touch was gentle and reassuring.
俺もお前がそばにいると力がみなぎってくる。聖者の時にあった活力が湧いてきて生きているのではと錯覚するほどだ。だからこれからも頼ってくれ。これは俺の願いだ。
I'm happy too. You've been a great help, Kuroha. We exchanged smiles and begin walking back, but after a single step, Kuroha hesitated.
そうだ。提案なんだが、お前を守りやすいようすぐそばにいてほしいと考えていてな。
Then he offered his sword sheath to me.
これを握っていてくれないか。手をつなげない代わりだ。
Your sword sheath?
ああ。お前が保健室で休んでいる間、七不思議を探しつついろいろ考えていて、この名案が浮かんだんだ。どうだ、いいと思わないか。
Kuroha's eyes flashed with enthusiasm, and I couldn't help but chuckle. Yes, it's certainly a unique plan. Holding his sheath is an odd idea, but it's so like Kuroha. His oddity brought a smile to my face. I walked towards him and held his sheath. Let's head out, shall we? Kuroha nodded. Pleased, and we left together. Kuroha's perspective. Walking side by side, I glanced back over to her. Her hands were clutched tightly on the sheath of my sword. My plans worked perfectly. As we walked, Yui appeared ahead.
ごきげんよう、二人とも。これからどちらへ?
Hi, Yui. We're off to the library, investigating one of the 7 wonders.
そう、頑張ってね。ねえ、どうしてクレハさんの刀の塚を握っているの？
これは俺が握らせているんだ。すぐそばにいてくれた方が守りやすいからな。
After saying that, I smiled to her, and she smiled back at me. Though I wanted her to stay close to protect her, I felt like our hearts were growing closer too.
あら、クレハさん、肩に何かついているわ。
Yui moved closer, and suddenly,
守るだけの目的ならいいけれど、異性として彼女を思わないことね。うつしおへの帰り道、彼女を迷わせたら許さない。
Yui pulled away from me after saying this, a gloomy smile on her face. Well, what's wrong?
クレハさんの肩に悪い虫がついていたような気がしたのだけれど、気のせいだったみたい。ごめん遊ばせ、クレハさん。
ああ、気にするな。
Yui's words were quite harsh. Why would I want to keep her here? I knew that was impossible. Yes, I was drawn to her naturally, but these feelings could never be romantic. Even if they did rise to that level, I wouldn't allow myself to get in the way of her going home. I'd protect her while she could see me, and watch over her silently when she couldn't. That was my promise. Back to the protagonist. Along the path to the library, I told Kuroha about the wish-granting book I'd heard about. Just as we arrived, I finished the tale. That's basically the gist of the rumors. It's not exactly a ghost, so it's not too scary.
命が芽生えることのない物体からなる噂話だったか。
Kuroha looked rather upset. His voice seemed a bit shaky, too. Oh, that's right. Kuroha mentioned he doesn't like scary stories very much. He seemed fine when we met Hibiki, so I had largely forgotten about his fears. Not only am I constantly relying on him, I also forgot about this.
よし。それでは何から始める？張り切って手伝うぞ。
I didn't know if Kuroha was forcing himself to be cheerful, but he was definitely acting strange. And yet, with the sheer amount of books here, I knew I needed all the help I could get to find the blood-colored book. I'll have him help. If I refused his help, he might feel even worse. Yeah, I should be the one to protect Kuroha from his fears right now. Fortunately, this scary story wasn't all that scary to me, leaving me feeling calm and composed. So, we're looking for a book with a blood-red cover. I'll go look at this shelf here, so you can check that shelf. So, can you check that shelf, Kuroha?
よーし。頑張るぞ。
Okay, you're acting weird. He's definitely acting weird. We moved towards the bookshelves and started looking through them. Suddenly... I ran over to the bookshelf where Kuroha was and noticed the book by his feet. What happened?
いや、視界の隅で何かうごめいたような気がしたのだが。気のせいだったようだ。声を荒げてすまない。
Oh, well, that's all right. I'm just glad it was nothing. While saying that, I patted Kuroha on his back like he always did for me and tried to calm him down. What is it?
いや、死んでいるというのに動機が激しい気がして。
He must have been really scared. Maybe it's best if we stick together. In the section I'm looking through, I'm having trouble looking at the higher shelves. Do you think you can help me there? Trying to minimize any negative feelings, I offered this compromise and was relieved to see Kuroha nod. After that, I got Kuroha to search the top rows of the shelves while I scanned the lower parts.
話では必要なものの前にだけ現れ、目にしたら引きつけられるということだったが。
But those were just the rumors, and it was possible they were wrong.
これまでで学んだか。
Yes, a lot of rumors so far have been wrong.
この独特な空気だ。うつしおでは隠れて見えないようになっていても、必ず存在するだろう。
Right. I'll try and look harder. Alright, let's find that blood red book. First red book on the left, second red book on the left, second red book on the right, red book on the right. Second red book on the right. When I touched the book, I felt an incredibly strange sensation. Somehow I knew it was the one, even without opening the blood red cover. This has to be it. Kuroha, this is the book.
見つかったか。手に持っていると危険かもしれない。床に置いた方がいい。
Okay.
わしを粗末に扱うのは許さんぞ。
Whoa. The voice came from the red book, and I dropped it in shock.
痛い。もっと優しく丁寧に扱え。若者が。
The book's pages fluttered like a mouth moving up and down. Oh, sorry, you just startled me. I moved to pick it up, but Kuroha, white as a sheet, stopped me.
俺が拾う。お前は下がっていろ。
He's shaking like a leaf. No, I'm okay. This is my task, so let me handle it. I can't always be the one protected. Besides, a talking book might be weird, but that's not scary.
だが、
Trust me, please.
わかった。ここはお前に任せよう。
I smiled and reached for the book again. After picking it up, I carried it to a nearby table. I set it down carefully and heard a satisfied sigh from the book.
さてと、願いを言ってみるのじゃ。
So, it's just like the rumors say, you really are a wish-granting book?
さよう。わしを見つけた者に褒美として願いを叶えてやっておる。お主は幸運じゃのう。普段ならば探したところでそう簡単には見つからん。まったく、この忌々しい空気のせいで台無しじゃ。せっかくかくれんぼを楽しんでいるというのに。
So, this was all just a game to him. I didn't think it would be scary, but this twist left me feeling oddly drained.
恐ろしいものでなくて安心したが、願いを叶えるというのが引っかかる。
After hearing it, Kuroha seemed to relax a bit more.
お前は、いや、あなたは何者なんだ？
お主の相手はせん。わしを見つけたのは娘の方なのだからな。
そうか。
I suppose that makes sense, but can a ghost really grant wishes?
して娘。願いはなんじゃ？あまり物騒なものを言ってくれるなよ。わしの美しさが損なわれていくでな。
Your looks?
汚れた願いを言うものが多くての。本が忌々しい色彩へと染め上げられ、困っておるのじゃよ。
So, that's why it's blood red, from all the past wishes? The thought alone made me shiver. Maybe I shouldn't ask for any more details. I'll just make my wish and go. Just as I was about to speak my wish, I hesitated. What if there's a better wish? Like simply restoring this place to the real world? I glanced at Kuroha, who was lost in thought. Then I turned back to the red book. Please return this space to the original school.
申し訳ないが、それはできぬ。
Huh? Why not?
わしとて神に盾つくのは嫌での。すまんが、他の願いにしてくれ。
おい、今、神って言ったか？
Kuroha and I were both taken aback. Are gods behind my being spirited away? We pressed the red book for answers. Then it finally sighed.
なるほど。神隠しか。言えて妙じゃの。
Please, you have to tell me more about the god that spirited me away. The red book stayed silent for a while before flipping its pages open.
この空間は神が作ったものとだけ言っておこう。あまり口にすれば目をつけられかねん。悪いが、これ以上は勘弁してくれ。
It made it sound as if this god was watching us, and I felt a chill run down my spine.
お主の願いが今のものだけなら残念ながら役には立てん。棚に戻してくれんか。
さっきの情報だけでも知れてよかったじゃないか。今は本来の目的を果たそう。
Yeah, you're right. I shook off my disappointment and turned to face the book again. I do have a wish. I want to know your name.
これは驚いた。わしの名を知りたい人間がいるとは。悪いが、それは願いの範疇ではない。あやかしは特別な契約でもなければ、あまり名を口にしない。ただでは教えん。
So, it's a spirit? I guess that explains the wish granting. I didn't realize names were so important to both ghosts and spirits alike. How can I learn your name then?
そうじゃのう。お主と何か契約する気も起きんし。まあ、交換条件として名でももらっておくか。
I quickly turned to Kuroha. He just shook his head, staying silent. Normally, I'd just blurt out my name, but in this world, if ghosts were lurking and listening, I couldn't just carelessly reveal my name. And I don't exactly trust this talking red book either. What if it does something to me the moment I say my name? Lost in these thoughts, the red book began turning its own pages.
これはわしとお主との秘め事。故に他に知られぬよう、互いにここへ記すこととしよう。
That meant no other ghosts would find out, but Then a brush appeared out of thin air. It seemed to want me to use it. Do I even have a choice? I hesitantly picked up the brush and stared at the crimson-red pages. Like the cover of the book itself, the pages were the color of blood and filled me with dread. Then I felt someone touch my arm. It was Kudaha. Kudaha looked troubled, his gaze drifting. He seemed torn, wanting to stop me, but knowing it might be our only chance to initiate a spiriting away and escape this place. If I pushed Kudaha to speak now, he might regret it later. It's okay. Remember, I said I'd handle this. I forced a smile, hoping to reassure him.
すまない。
He released my arm with a sigh. Here goes nothing. I began writing in the dark red pages. After writing my name, I put the brush down. The writing vanished, as if absorbed by the book, and then... His name is Hagiwara, a spirit who served the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace? I was reminded of a story I heard as a child. It can't be. Lost in thought, I noticed the book snap shut.
さて、これで良いかな?
Yes, thank you. Did you know you're one of the school's 7 wonders?
それはもちろんじゃ。人間に忘れられないようここを選び、七不思議の一つになろうと奮闘したのだぞ。
You tried to become one yourself?
さよう。人間に忘れられれば存在が消えてしまうでな。あやかしとは儚いものよ。わらべが多いここはうってつけであったぞ。信じやすく好奇心旺盛であるからな。一人の生徒の願いを叶えてやったら即座に噂が広まり、皆わしに夢中じゃ。
I see.
あやかしというのは大変だな。他にも困っているあやかしがいるのなら、七不思議の座を喜んで譲りたい。
そうかそうか。困っている者がいたら提案してみよう。だが、お主の噂話は有名すぎるゆえ、そう簡単には奪えない。
I suppose that's true. After all, I'd first heard whispers of katakata soon after I joined the school. Kudaha looked pensive, sighing heavily.
というか、俺のことを知っているんだな。今回が初めてと思っていたが、どこかで会っていたか。
いいや、これが初対面じゃ。だが、生徒の会話からカラカラさんの話は聞いておったからの。俺、その見た目、噂通りの風貌じゃ。お主が当てはまらんだろ
あ、そうか。
So the book figured out he was katakata based on his looks as well.
楽しい時を過ごせて満足じゃ。名を教えてほしいと言った生徒はお主が初めて。なんとも新鮮で心地よいものじゃの。
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'll put you back now.
ああ、待て待て。願いを叶えてはやれんかったが、楽しいひとときの礼に、わしが知っておるある伝承を教えよう。
A legend? What kind of legend?
大昔、この地に伝わっていたものじゃ。役立つものではないだろうが、これくらいしかできぬでな。
With that, the book opened up again, revealing words on the page. Kudaha and I both leaned in to read the legend. Long, long ago, children in these lands would often disappear. The villagers would search and search, but none of them were ever found. Something strange is going on here. Maybe a beast took them? You mean to say they were eaten? There are rumors of a man-eating wolf who lives in the next village over. Then it's come to our village now. Indeed, and soon it will pose a threat to all of us. The villagers got worried and sleepless. They began leaving offerings at the base of the mountains. The wolf filled its belly with their offerings day after day. Yet the children kept vanishing. Another child vanished. Then the offerings were meaningless. That's not true. I saw other animals eating the offerings the other day. The wolf never got it. Then let us dig out a cave and leave offerings to the wolf there. Wolves love caves. So the villagers left their offerings in the cave, day after day. And what happened next shocked them. A month later, all the missing children, presumed dead at this point, returned to the village. The mothers of the village wept with joy. Thank goodness you're safe. We were so worried you'd been eaten by the wolf. Fathers too embraced their children. We're so glad you're safe. Where were you all this time? The children looked confused. A god took us away. But they were satisfied and let us return. The villagers, surprised, asked the village chief. The chief pondered about this. It was not the work of wolves, but a god. The god was testing our faith and taught us a lesson. We gave an offering to the god, and so our children were returned. We must continue to make offerings to the gods. So the chief had an altar built, and the villagers continued their offerings to prevent any more kidnappings. The Japanese gods are kind of mean, you know. Either Japanese gods are like, tied to a place and they just kill you regardless, or even when you negotiate with them, they have a habit of kidnapping you or killing you. I was like, oh. When we finished reading, Kuraha and I merely glanced at each other. Spiritings away, offerings. It was just like what Isao Sukami said. Or Sukami. Oh, yes. The book closed shut before opening its cover once more. Oh, thanks so much. You've really helped us. It's just a legend, but could it really be true? Curiosity got the better of me, and so I spoke up. About that legend, did it really happen? I see. It could be a similar rumor. There's no point in us looking into it any further. In addition, given Yui's goal right now, there was probably no point in telling her either. Right. Nodding to Kuraha, I turned back to the red book. I'll put you back now. Thanks for everything. As I picked up the book, it opened slightly. Hmm? All right. After returning it to the shelf, I bowed and left the library with Kuraha. I guess I really have been spirited away then. If it wasn't a malevolent god, then why? Saya's words echoed in my mind.
これは私の勝手な考えですが、神のご意志で神隠しにあったのなら、神には何か思惑があるはず。戯れなのか、彼女を思ってされたのか、わかりかねますが、何にしても神は今も彼女を見ていらっしゃるでしょう。
Could it be it was for my own good? I felt like I was on the right track, but the reason still eluded me. But I suppose that was to be expected. How could I, a mere human, understand the thoughts of a god? God worked in mysterious ways, or so they said. For now, I decided to let go of these thoughts and focus on the task at hand. Kuraha's perspective. After releasing the second of the 7 wonders, we left the library. She appeared to be daydreaming, and I wondered what she could be thinking about. Yet I, too, was battling my own nerves. I let her see me panic. I had vowed to protect her, but failed. I felt like banging my head against the wall to shake off this terrible feeling. That's it. I should do that. I moved closer to the wall, ready to bump myself when... What are you doing?
情けない己に喝を入れるんだ。 壁に頭を打ちつけることでな。
Why would you do that? Please stop.
だがさっきの俺はお前を守るどころか足を引っ張っていた。恐怖に震えるばかりで情けない。
That's not true at all. Besides, having you by my side puts me at ease, Kuroha. I put her at ease? Her expression seemed genuine. So there's no need for you to bonk your head. She tugged at my arm and I found myself smiling.
お前がそう言ってくれるのならやめておこう。
I almost patted her head, but stopped myself. Touching her could be dangerous. I'd been so cautious up until that point. It wasn't that she charmed me as a living being. It was that my hand just naturally moved there. Let's head back to the nurse's office.
ああ、そうだな。休憩した方がいい。
I needed some time to calm down as well, for her sake. Back to the protagonist. It's kind of interesting how they give us these little asides for all the characters, to give us an idea of their thought process. Back in the nurse's office, Kuroha tucked me into bed. He then quickly went back out to search for the rest of the 7 wonders. I know he was just being kind to me, but I don't feel safe enough to sleep here. My mind rushed back to the nightmare I'd had before, and I bolted upright. I don't think I should sleep. Perhaps I can find another way to relax. It's too dangerous to go into the hallway, but I felt I needed to be able to walk around on my own. There could come a time in the future when I had to act on my own, and when that time came, I needed to be able to move freely without fear. I know, I could head to my classroom and pick up my bag. After all, I was still curious about what had happened with the printout before. Considering how I saw it right after I was spirited away, perhaps it was from that god that brought me here. I peered outside and saw Yui sitting on a chair.
どうしたの？あ、私がいると眠れないかしら。
No, that's not it. I just felt like, rather than nap, I need to do something to get my head straight, so I'm going out for a bit.
それは許可できないわ。あなたをよろしく頼むとクレハさんにお願いされているのだから。
I understand, but I don't like always being protected by someone else. I shared my thoughts with Yui. She pondered for a moment, and then sighed, seemingly resigned.
あなたの言い分も間違いではないわね。
So...
カリファの花は持っていて。
Yes, I do. I rummaged through my pockets and found the Khalifa petals Saya had given me.
念のため手に握っておくこと。そして襲われそうになったらこれを対象の体に押し当ててみて。
Is that the best way to use it?
試したことがないからわからないのだけれど、あなたができる自己防衛の方法はそれしかないと思って。
I suppose that makes sense.
でも一番いいのは逃げることよ。気づかれていないのならこっそりと、気づかれたのなら全力で。
Got it. I'm not the most athletic girl, but I'll do my best. Yui, thanks for understanding. I'll tell Kuroha about this later. Yui smiled at me.
あなたを送り出すのはね、この前あなたも私を送り出してくれたからよ。私の内情を知って身を案じてくれていたのは知ってる。でもあなたは私の意志を尊重してくれた。
Despite the grudges the other ghosts felt towards Isao Skikame, or Skikami, Yui was proactive in helping me search for the 7 wonders. And I won't interfere with your mission, Yui. I knew it was her way of atoning for what Isao Skikami did, and I wouldn't take that away from her.
私もあなたの邪魔をしないわ。応援する側でいたいから。過保護なのはクレハさんだけで十分。あら？それでいくと私もあなたも反抗期といったところかしら。
Seems like it. She patted my shoulder gently.
いってらっしゃい。頑張ってね。
Yes, I'm off now. Yui waved goodbye, and I stepped into the hallway, filled with motivation. I needed to be stealthy if unnoticed, and speedy if I was. I glanced at the califa flower in my hand. Press it against the attacker if attacked. Alright, now where to next? Let's see here. Elevator, staircase landing. I guess we need to talk to Kuroha? I headed to the entrance and saw Kuroha. Maybe I should go talk to him. Kuroha? Upon seeing me, Kuroha's eyes widened.
なぜお前がここにいる？
Well, about that. I told him about my conversation with Yui. So, please don't be upset with Yui about this.
安心しろ。ユイを責めはしないし、お前についても何も言う気はない。
You're okay with it?
お前の意思を俺も尊重したいからな。くれぐれも気を配って行動するんだぞ。
Thank you. I'm so relieved he understands.
ああ、俺でよければ、お前の気分転換に付き合わせてくれないか？
That'd be great. Are you sure?
いいも何も、そうしたいんだ。お前といると、心が安らぐ。
I feel the same way about him. In that case, let's chat. Now, what should we chat about? Well, definitely not ghost stories. We'll talk about hobbies. Kuroha, do you have any hobbies?
最近は友人と共に映画を楽しむことだな。
Huh? You can leave the school?
ここに縛り付けられているわけじゃない。心が惹かれる場所ではあるがな。
I wonder if he's different from other ghosts.
ここを拠点としているが、時々外出するんだぞ。海の方まで行くこともある。
Oh, then would you say going for walks is one of your hobbies too?
趣味というほど熱心でもないな。気分転換といったところか。気分転換は重要でな。心が病まないよう、いろいろと娯楽を見つけては挑戦している。心が病めば悪霊化してしまいかねないからな。日々、楽しみを発見するようにしている。
Oh, that actually sounds kind of tough. Seeing as we're all cooped up here now, I wish there was something I could do to help.
それならもうできているぞ。
Oh, really?
あ、お前と会話していると心が安らぐ。だからまた話しかけてくれ。
That makes me genuinely happy. I enjoy talking with you too, Kuroha. In that case, I'll be sure to stop by again soon.
楽しみに待っているぞ。来ないなら俺から会いに行くからな。
Sounds like a plan.
そうか。そんなに喜んでくれるのなら、この後すぐに会いに行くか。
Well, I mean, we're already together right now. Kuroha can sure be an airhead sometimes, but I guess that's part of his charm. Right, I was headed to my classroom. I changed direction and ascended the central staircase. I wonder if Hibiki is around. Peering into the mirror, I saw him sitting alone by himself on the stairs. Hibiki? Noticing me, his entire face seemed to light up, and he came out of the mirror to meet me.
僕の出番でしょうか。情報屋として頑張ります。
Oh, no, it's not that. I just happened to pass by this way and wanted to say hi. Hibiki tilted his head in confusion.
これから七不思議の会に会いに行くんですか？
No, I wanted to pick up some things after I left my classroom. Plus, there was something else I wanted to check up on.
そうですか。荷物を取るだけ。
Is something wrong?
僕も一緒に行きたいな。
Really? Are you sure? I knew he'd been holed up in the mirror by himself for so long, so his request caught me up by surprise. Also, he was forbidden from interacting with other ghosts, right?
幽霊に会いに行くわけじゃないなら平気です。
But what if we see another ghost along the way?
それを言われると。
I hope I haven't upset him. What should I do now? Don't worry, I'll protect you. I'll leave it up to you, Vicky. I guess we should protect him? I was puzzled about why interacting with other ghosts was forbidden. It seemed to be something rather core to who he was, and I realized I couldn't simply ask. So instead I said, I'll protect you, Hibiki. Let's go together.
あなたが僕を？
Yes, I'll keep you safe from ghosts. Don't worry. I expected him to be happy about my offer, but instead he seemed offended.
バカにしないでください。女の子に守られなくても僕は平気ですから。
With that, Hibiki headed up the stairs alone.
さあ、行きますよ。僕が先頭です。
I quickly rushed to follow him. I didn't mean to belittle you.
僕があなたを守る側ですから。幽霊が来ても平気だって分からせます。
Really? I thought you wanted to avoid them.
大丈夫になったんです。たった今。
I guess this is what happens when you injure a young man's pride. Okay, then I'm coming with you. Hibiki turned back to me, smiling confidently.
はい。任せてください。
His smile was oddly reassuring to me. Entering my classroom after so long felt strangely refreshing. Now as to why I came here, the mysterious printout was still on my desk. I'll be quick. With that, I headed to my desk. Then I picked up my bag and slung it over my shoulder. I cautiously looked down at the printout, but no way, it's totally blank. Oh, hey man. At that time, I thought I remembered seeing something else drawn on it.
どうかしたんですか？
Hibiki approached, seeing me frozen in place. Oh, how could I possibly explain this? I hesitated, then told him about the blank printout I found upon waking up.
このプリントに触れたら何か書かれたですか？
Hibiki pondered, looking at the printout.
もしかしたら今見えてない裏面に何か書かれているかもしれませんね。僕確かめてみます。
But
大丈夫ですよ。あなたに何かあったら大変だけど、僕なら平気です。わかりますよね。
is Hibiki saying that because he's already dead? I understand, but I'm still worried whether you're living or dead. Perhaps my reaction was emotional, but this affects me directly. No, I should be the one to touch it. I was too scared to do it back then, but in the end, it didn't harm me. I reached out and...
ダメ。
Hibiki's scream made me stop. Hibiki? He looked as surprised as I was.
ごめんなさい。急に大きな声を。うまく言えないんですけど。例えば、死ぬようなことじゃなかったとしても、苦しむ姿を見たくないんです。生前、僕は傷つけられ、苦しむ人たちの声をたくさん聞いてきました。それがとても辛かったし。
The strained expression on his face told me just how much the divine invocation incident had affected him. Could he have ended his life because he couldn't endure it anymore? That was terrible. A sharp pain echoed in my heart. The pain wasn't exactly mine, but for Hibiki and for all the terrible trauma he must have suffered.
だからあなたが苦しむ可能性が少しでもあるなら僕が回避させます。
Oh, you found a girl already? Well, that was fast. Determined, he slowly reached for the printout. Still worried, I watched him flip over the paper. Nothing. It was totally blank. Surprised, I turned to Hibiki. Hibiki, are you alright?
はい、異変とか起きてないですけど。以前あなたが触れた時何か描かれたなら僕が触れても同じ現象が起きると考えていたんですけど。
Oh, right. His words gave me a hint. I think it reacts to me. It never occurred to me when it was blank, but this item probably belongs to me. Only one date. She said she has no problem with kids. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of people out there that, like kids. Maybe they grew up with kids, or they want to be a parent, or so that's good. Glad you found somebody, at least initially. Hopefully it all works out in the end. Hibiki instantly looked worried. It should be fine. If it's related to the god who spirited me away, it won't hurt me. Still, I'm not sure if it's the same god. However, I knew I needed to say this, or Hibiki wouldn't let me touch it. The spirit in the library said the god who spirited me away isn't evil. Again, that's just what I heard, though. I have no proof, only the Red Book's word. Hibiki looked back and forth between me and the printout, clearly torn about what to do.
わかりました。異変を感じたらすぐにプリントから手を離してくださいね。
Oh, she's a bit older than you? That's not necessarily a bad thing. But this is, of course, me speaking from I've never, dated somebody my own age. I've always dated somebody that's a little older. So, well, I won't say never, but in my adult life, I never dated somebody my own age. And, I thought things were good. 5 years? 5 years is nothing. Understood. Oh, and I have this, so there's nothing to worry about. I showed him the cauliflower wrapped in my handkerchief.
どうしてあなたがこれを？
Wait, you recognize this? Apparently it's called a cauliflower and...
いえ、知らないです。知っている花かなって思ったんですけど、違いました。
She's 30 or 26. Oh, that's perfectly fine. That's hardly a great distance as far as years are concerned. Honestly, in between your early 20s till probably your mid to late 40s, there's not a lot of differences between you and people in that kind of that time period in your life. Really things don't start to change for you until you're closer to 50, and then your body changes a little bit, and probably a lot of things in your life may have changed how you think about things or your personality. So, that's a perfectly fine age bracket. So I definitely wouldn't feel bad about that or worry about that too much. Okay, but anyway, I got it from the Grand Warder of Hell. It's supposed to protect me from harm.
それなら安心です。
Hibiki seemed to be acting a bit strange, but I was glad to see he was reassured. He then offered me the printout, and I took it carefully. At that moment...
探しましょう。あなたの道を。僕はあなたを闇へ誘うもの。
The forgotten memories started flowing back into my brain.
進路のプリントについては今日持って帰ってきなさい。早く記入して提出しておかないと。
Wait a minute. You can't just ignore how I feel about this.
何も決まっていないので しょ。それなら聖銀大学で考えてみなさい。きっと気に入るはずだから。
Oh, okay, so you're of similar height, although she's just a little bit shorter than you, which I think a lot of guys prefer that. I don't know if you're one of them. Doesn't like somebody that's taller or maybe too short. After regaining my memories, my vision was still flashing, throwing me off balance.
危ない。
Hibiki caught me by the arm, preventing my fall. Oh, sorry. I'm okay. Hibiki immediately became self-conscious and quickly let me go.
あ、僕こそごめんなさい。触れてしまって。なんともないですか？平気ですか？
Yes, I'm fine now. I saw some visions from before I came here, and I think that's what made me dizzy. That voice was the same one from my room. I really have been spirited away.
思い出したんですか？
Yes, I remember everything. This piece of paper was my career path survey. Though I wish I could forget about that call I had with my mom.
進路って、進路希望のですか？生徒たちが最近話していますよね。進路が決まったとか、まだ考え中とか。ああ、鏡の中から生徒たちの会話を聞いて、それで知って。
Hibiki kept talking, but my mind was elsewhere, recalling the events leading me up to coming to this place.
大丈夫ですか？
Yes, I'm fine.
でもそんな風には見えないですけど。もしかして、記憶の中に重要な情報があったんですか？
I nodded, still lost in thought. I think I was spirited away while struggling with what to do with my future. Could that lead one to being spirited away?
詳しく知らないので、間違っているかもですけど。
His tone was reserved, and I turned to face him, still feeling groggy from the visions.
と神様は、進路のことを一度忘れさせたくて、白紙にしたのかなと思って。
She's redheaded, blue-eyed lady. I don't know. I mean, some people don't necessarily run into somebody for a while, you know? I mean, I wouldn't read too much into that. And not everybody like looks for a relationship right away, you know? Like if you're worried about your career and maybe you want to have a good job before you have some sort of relationship, I mean, that's a perfectly valid life choice. You know, I think more and more people make that choice. They're like, well, I don't want to like make my life more complicated if I'm trying to build up my career. You know, that's not uncommon for people to think that way.
焦らずに落ち着いて、あなたに考える時間を与えた。
Time to think. His kind-hearted interpretation shifted my building negative emotions. I never thought of it that way. If Hibiki was right, maybe this god really was a force for good.
どうでしょう。いい神様って聞いて、こう考えてみたんですけど。
Oh, she's a teacher. Then it might be just kind of hard to meet people, right? If you're just spending time with the school children, and then the only other people you meet are going to be people that work at the school or attached to the school. So yeah, well, I can see that. I can see that, like, not necessarily being like a priority that you have to date somebody, right? You'd be single for a while. Hibiki's keen observation and kind words touched me. Not only does he try to protect me physically, but emotionally too. Maybe it really is a good god. If what you say is true, then this god must indeed be good. I sure hope that's the case anyway. As I mumbled, Hibiki leaned over to me.
そうだと思いましょう。その方が素敵だから。
Wonderful?
こんな目に遭ってるあなたからしたら迷惑だと思いますけど、羨ましいなって。
Single 30 sounds a bit fishy. Boy, you were just not very trusting. I mean, people make all sorts of life choices. It just sounds like that you're always looking, or that you always think that people should be in relationships. But I don't think that's how the world works anymore. I think you can be in a relationship if you want, but you can also be single if you want. I mean, like I said, those are perfectly valid choices. In fact, I think worldwide people wait for a long time before they raise a family, just in general. So that's again, I think that's perfectly fine. It's very normal. I mean, look, I didn't get married until I was, I think I was well, maybe around your age. I think the first time I ever got married was when I was like 25 or 26, somewhere around there. And, you know, I really didn't have like a ton of girlfriends either up until that point. I just didn't. It was never a priority for me. Yeah, I was married before. I was married once before. Well, you know, it didn't work out, but, and we didn't have any kids or anything, but yeah, I've gone through the whole marriage thing.
未来をいいものへ変えようと力になってくれている。僕にもそんな存在がいたらなって。
I thought I understood what Hibiki was getting at, and it saddened me. To give me time to think. I remembered my phone conversation with Mom and felt pained. I'll use this time to think about my path forward after I get back. I could also use this time to figure out how to patch things up with my mom. You thought I'm a playboy? Oh, no, actually, I guess, I always, aim for a long-term relationship. It's always my aim. But it usually doesn't work out that way. I'll say that every girl that I've ever dated, every woman I've ever dated, I mean, I've always I felt that they were always somebody that I could marry, you know, and I never really have like a relationship that I intend to be temporary. That's really not my thing. It's not always true the other way around, right? Sometimes, you know, I'll pick somebody that is not necessarily interested in like a long-term relationship. But I always have the intention of staying with somebody for a long time. Like I said, it doesn't always work out that way. But, you know, it is what it is. All right. We are at the top of the hour, so we will have to stop it there. This is meowmurai. You've been watching... wait, what are we playing again? Oh, yes, 9 R.I.P, running on Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you at the next stream. And, yeah, hey, congratulations. I hope things work out with you and your gal. I always like hearing good news from people. But if you have bad news, that's okay, too.